One of the most common questions I get about majoring in economics is, what are the marketable skills that I can develop as an economics major to make sure that I have a good job when I graduate? In this video, I want to give you 5 projects that will help you start developing marketable skills that you can tell people about when you're applying for jobs. And I don't mean just like these wishy-washy, learn to code, learn to write. That's not specific enough. That doesn't give you a starting point to get to where you need to go. I'm talking about specific projects where you'll actually start developing those skills. If you do any of these projects, please let me know either in the comments below or send me a tweet at MarketPowerYT. The first project that I want to tell you about is learn to scrape websites. What does that even mean? I remember the first time someone asked me about that, like, oh, do you know how to scrape websites? I had no clue what that meant. Well, scraping websites means developing a little program, a little coded program that will go to websites and grab data from that website and store it in a file that you can then analyze later. This is an amazing skill. Once you learn this skill, you'll feel like a wizard and you'll wonder how muggles even get around. It's crazy how good this skill is. And it's very simple to learn. Why I like this skill as something that you can start developing right now is because it'll get you into coding. When people say learn to code, it can be really overwhelming and you don't know where to start. This is a coding project that once you start learning this, it'll give you that foundation and you start building on that and saying, oh, now that I know how to do this, let me go a little bit higher. So what kind of things are you gonna be able to do once you learn to scrape a website? Well, I've done a video, I actually did a whole series of videos back in October, November, December, where I was using this skill every day. That was with Team Trees. I don't know if you remember Team Trees. This was this big YouTube initiative started by Mr. Beast and Mark Rober, and that was we were gonna raise $20 million to plant 20 million trees. This website would update constantly with how many dollars had been donated. And what I did right before this initiative started, right before it launched, I set up this tiny program. Literally just took me 3 minutes to write this thing that would ping the website every minute and tell me how many trees have been donated. And then I started making videos about that and trying to forecast when we would reach 20 million trees. And my forecast was pretty dang close. I was just a few days off. If you go check out this video, it's amazing to watch how it tracks. Is just beautiful to see. Here's my challenge for you. Learn how to scrape a website. In fact, here are some suggestions. Some of my favorite websites to scrape are things like thenumbers.com or Box Office Mojo to get box office data. Or you can go to Basketball Reference or Baseball Reference, whatever your preferred sport is, and you can start scraping that. My suggestion is we just finished the ESPN documentary, The Last Dance, featuring Michael Jordan. Go to Michael Jordan's page on Basketball Reference and write a script that will go there and grab his statistics for each season. And then if you really want to go advanced, write a script that will go to every game in each season and grab the statistics. This is a really straightforward program. These are the things that I learned on, and you can go ahead and do this. I'll give you a hint on where to start. If you're doing it in Python, which I really recommend, you'll want to do Python and you can start looking at Beautiful Soup. Look for tutorials on Beautiful Soup, and that will get you started on how to scrape websites. You might also need to learn regular expressions. Start looking into that as well. Once you understand that, man, the world just opens to you. It's really fantastic. And then once you have those skills, you might start developing other coding skills, and then you can just go and tell people when you apply for a job, hey, I learned how to scrape these websites, I downloaded this data, and I forecasted when Team Trees was gonna hit 20 million trees. That's the kind of stuff that's gonna be really impressive when you go interview for jobs. The second project you should do is way lighter than scraping websites, but it's still fun. And that is to go use the St. Louis Federal Reserve FRED website. It's called F-R-E-D, FRED. This is just a really fun website that gives you data on so many different things. And so I just recommend exploring this and learning about what kind of data are out there, how to download this data, just getting ideas about when you might need to use this data and just having fun exploring it. So one common use of this website is to look up unemployment rate. So you can go on there and look at the unemployment rate right now, and you can see the whole history of the unemployment rate, and then you can appreciate the magnitude of the spike in April. Wow, like that gives you all the way back till 1950, the just magnitude of the unemployment rate. Another interesting thing is you can go on this and look at airline flight prices. I don't know what I'm saying right now, but there we go. You can look at the cost of flying over time, and you can see that once coronavirus hit, there was a massive drop. Airline prices are the lowest they've been since 1999. Crazy. And I just have fun. I just love exploring this data. It is so interesting. So go ahead and start exploring that. Here is a challenge for you. Why don't you go see what we spend more money on every year? Is it movies and entertainment or research and development? It's a really interesting thing to be able to compare these, and you can do that with this tool. You can learn how to compare data series and get that direct comparison that you need. The third project I have for you is to learn how to create a scatter plot. Data visualization is huge right now, especially with machine learning and just all the data we have available out there. And it's important that you learn the basics behind data visualization. And the scatter plot is one of the most basic data visualizations that you can create. But they're also really powerful. Here is a project that I'm working on. I'm looking at Americans doing business in Haiti back at the beginning of the 20th century. And one thing I wanted to know is how political turmoil affects how business is done in Haiti. And so this is a scatter plot of the number of business licenses that Americans have in Haiti against the number of New York Times articles that talk about Haiti the year before the license was issued. Now, here's something fun. Those New York Times articles, I scraped those. That was a scraping exercise for me to go and figure out how that is. So again, wizard among muggles. Learn how to scrape. Anyway, with this little data visualization, it's just these two things where I'm showing you the number of articles against the number of licenses, and you can see there's this clear negative relationship where the more articles that talk about Haiti, the fewer licenses by Americans. And my argument that I'm making in this project is that the more articles means there's more political turmoil. That's what they're reporting on, is the more political turmoil. And you can see that as there's more turmoil, there are fewer American businesses operating in Haiti. Super simple data visualization, but also really powerful. So what should you do to do this scatter plot? You should use Python or R. Figure out how to do it with one of those. Those are both free tools. And so you can learn how to do this without having to pay anything. And if you can go in and to a job interview and say, hey, I know how to make a scatter plot with R and Python, you're already starting to make really big headway. The fourth project that I have for you deals with writing. Learn how to summarize an article. You know, again, like learn how to write is such a big, broad topic, and it can be really hard to get those skills, especially because you need to learn what to write about. You need to learn how to write all those different things. When you learn how to summarize, you get to just focus on that skill of communicating. And that's really important. Communication today, I mean, this is the age of communication. You need to learn how to communicate effectively. So what I challenge you to do is to read an article and then summarize that article in 100 words or less. Or start writing tweets about this. Go out, summarize something in just one tweet. Those kind of constraints are going to force you to be precise, to be clear, to make sure that you understand the main ideas and communicate those in a way that you are under those constraints. And I recommend making this some sort of public thing. Like I said, Twitter could be a good source for this, or you can start blogging. If you publicly document the things that you're reading and the ideas that you're summarizing, you're gonna be able to go to an employer and say, hey, over the past year, I've read an article a week about this this topic and I've created this public summary and you can go and check this out, you're gonna have something that you can show a potential employer and they're gonna be like, wow, this person has documented what they've learned over the last year, what they've learned over the last summer, whatever your time frame is. If you can publicly document it, not only are you developing this skill, you have something to show for it at the end. My fifth project for you is to explore non-economics fields. Now, hopefully you're doing that, but sometimes it can be really focused. Sometimes you can just get really, you just love economics so much, that's the only thing that you're doing. I feel like I did that when I was an undergraduate. I loved reading economics books. I wanted to read the latest popular economics book, start getting into the research. But then you might not start learning about the things where you can actually bring unique economic insights in there and start contributing and develop more expertise. Let me give you an example. The summer before I went to graduate school, I worked as a research fellow for a microfinance organization where I was interviewing their customers in Haiti. And so I was in Haiti, I wanted to understand Haiti better, so I picked up a book on Haitian history to read over that summer. And as I was in this, I was reading about these Haitian families who had land, but it was practically impossible for them to sell it because so many different people had claims to it. They had, their siblings had to give them permission to sell it, their uncles and aunts, and goes on and on. It could take a lot of people to get the permission to sell this piece of land to someone else. Now, I wasn't there necessarily looking for economics in Haitian history, but as I read that story, I thought, wow, that's gotta be really tough for economic development. Like, how did that affect economic development? And I took that question to graduate school, and that ended up becoming my dissertation. That ended up being the thing that I researched. And it wasn't because I was reading a book on economics, it was because I was reading a book on history where I thought, wow, maybe economics can help us understand this topic better. So if you have topics that you're interested in that aren't necessarily economics, something in history, something in current events, something in tech, whatever it is, explore that interest a little bit further. And then maybe you can bring a unique economic insight there, or you'll have something that you can talk about when you're going out on the job market. Here at MarketAbout, we're interested in creating a community of people interested and excited about economics. So if that's you, subscribe and check out these other videos. We'll see you in the next episode of Market Power.